Hello and welcome to today's ESHA webinar discussing and demonstrating Food Processor and the menu planning module that is available for Food Processor. My name is Alicia and I'm joined by Katie today. Before we get into the main topic of today's presentation, let me give you a little background on ESHA research. ESHA was established in 1981 and has grown from offering one of the first dietary nutrition analysis software solutions to a full suite of products and services, including our labeling compliant applications that are Genesis R&D Foods and Genesis R&D Supplements, REX, which is our new regulatory document search tool, of course, Food Processor that we're showing you today, and ESHA Consulting Services that provides labeling services and specialized expertise for the industry. Food Processor was introduced in 1984 to help address the needs for convenient dietary recall and analysis, as well as to store and search a sizable food and ingredient database. Over the years, Food Processor has remained the go-to standard for dietary intake collection and evaluation and recipe analysis, and it's heavily used in nutrition education. Today, we're working with version 11.11. Current cloud instances of the software are maintained automatically. If you're running an earlier version of the software, please get in touch with the ESHA sales team to check on your account status. Throughout the year, ESHA presents webinars on a variety of topics, including software updates. You can find all of the previously recorded webinars on the ESHA website in the Events tab. You can also sign up to receive webinar notifications as they come available on the ESHA website. As always, this webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions during the webinar, please submit them using the chat box. We will respond to you directly after the broadcast has concluded. And if you think of additional questions after the webinar, please reach out to sales@esha.com. Today we'll be showing the menu planning module features and highlighting creating the menu plan, creating cycle menus, and discussing reports, including the menu plan calendar report. Then we'll wrap up with some Q&A. The menu planning module is available as an add-on to Food Processor. The ESHA sales team can provide pricing and licensing information if you don't already have access to this module. I'm going to cover some highlights of the menu planning module, and Katie is going to demonstrate the features in action in the software. Food Processor has long been an essential tool used in tracking dietary recalls, comparison of consumed foods to recommendation standards, and for analyzing recipes. The menu planning module provides you with a means to create menu plans from your frequently served foods and recipes, quickly analyze menus and meals for their nutritional content, build menu templates based around the nutritional standards for the populations that you serve. So you can plan meals that consider the dietary needs of adults, children, populations at hospitals, meal services, long-term care facilities, schools, workplace cafeterias, and others. You can choose from generic DRI profiles, or you can create specific client nutrient profiles for comparing nutritional standards. You can take into account the popularity of food selections to determine the average nutrient analyses of menu consumption. And you can use the cycle menu option to work with rotating menus and view and present weekly, monthly, or other range of day menus. For the menu planning module, I want to share a few terms and concepts that are used with the features. As you build days and form menus within the module, a food pick list is created. It is likely that you have foods and beverages that are repeatedly offered from day to day. So the pick list helps you keep a convenient list of foods from which to select for use in your menus. The pick list might include individual foods like orange juice or whole wheat toast, as well as recipes or dishes that you've added to your food processor. Foods can be assigned to meals and to collections to help you organize your foods. So here's an example of using meals and collections and those options available to help organize your foods, meals, and menus. The meals categories are set within the software, and from those you can select or assign foods to breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. Or you can choose no meal, which is the default, and that will leave the food unattached to any specific meal. That would list the foods more generically. Collections refers to categories by food types. So by default, that's the idea behind the term collections, is the food types. The software lists various collections, such as beverages, cereal, desserts, entrees, etc. Again, here you can leave foods unassigned from collections if you want to list those more generically or organize those more generically. You can also create your own collections to help you list foods as needed for your menus. So again, while we've given you this idea of the collections as food types, you can add your own. So there really is flexibility in how you choose to organize your foods. Here's an example of the menu plan to show you how the software organizes the information on screen. You can see here the view is organized by week and days are listed across this view. This shows a 7-day week with Monday through Sunday. Meals are listed down each day. If you've assigned foods to meals, then they'll be listed in the order of the meals. So this example shows 3 meals a day, and the foods within each day are listed in the order of their collections. So there's consistency throughout the order of the meals, and again, consistency throughout the collections if you choose to assign foods to those. And again, there's flexibility in this design. So if your facility, say, only serves 1 meal a day, you could either not assign the foods to meals and just have them listed in the order that they occur, or assign all foods to, say, lunch, if you only serve lunch at your facility, and then lunch would be listed and all the foods assigned to that lunch. So again, in this example, you can see days across and meals down the list. And then this is also showing multiple choices for each day. So the offerings or the consumers have choices to make for each menu or each day on the foods that they want to eat. Again, that's a decision or an organizational choice that you can make when designing your menus. So if you only offer 1 entree, you only need to list 1 entree. If you do offer multiple, you can certainly list more than 1 entree, more than 1 beverage, etc. The cycle menu features in the menu planning module allow you to easily build repeating or rotating menus. You must first build at least 1 menu plan in order to create a cycle menu. And you can enter any number of days as needed and then choose how they repeat, such as following the same repeating pattern each week, or you can mix up your days. So if you built several days, you can certainly mix and match the order of those days to appear as you need them to occur in your cycle. Because menu plans are commonly presented in terms of calendar days, the menu plan calendar report is available to help present information based on a month of menus. The calendar report is designed to be displayed on 1 page, and the display options include month and year. So by selecting the month and the year, the calendar formats to the correct days of the week. You can choose days per week with a 7-day or a 5-day per week option. And then you can show the previous or next month. So by doing so, if you select that to show, you'll see the ending of the previous month or the beginning of the next month to fill out the calendar, fill out the weeks. If you uncheck that box, then you will only see the days that occur in the current month. And here's an example of the menu plan report, the calendar report. It begins on the left corner, day that you can see there. And this example shows the show previous and next month option selected so you can see the ending days of March and then where April begins. The note here on Pizza Day, we have Pizza Day Friday, and so in this example with this 5-day menu, pizza is always served on Friday. So when organizing this cycle menu, the 5th day and the 10th day, the 15th day, etc., would all contain pizza as the offering, and then the other days are organized as you serve those meals. So again, thinking about the organization of how you build your cycle menu, if it's a 5-day or a 7-day week, those are some things to consider. So this highlights the menu plan functions, and at this time I'll turn it over to Katie to further explain and demonstrate the menu planning module features and more related options within the software.
Thank you, Alicia. So this is the food processor software version 11.11. And you can check which version you're running by clicking on this blue icon under the About section. And if you're not running version 11.11, please contact sales. And we can also help update your software application. As Alicia mentioned, in the cloud, the software update is automatic. And then also here, so what Alicia was mentioning is the menu planning module. If this is grayed out, the menu plan is an additional feature. So please contact sales if you would like more information on the menu planning module or would like to add that to your account. So today I'm going to create a new menu plan and show you the added reports within this new update. So I'm going to do new and menu plan. You will name your menu plan. I'll just call this our spring menu. Groups is an excellent way for organizing your database. So if you did have different facilities that you are working for, you can add in your own group, or if you did have different menu plans that you would like to create for different allergies or diets, you can create your own groups, and then it just makes it easier to pull up those menu plans that belong to a specific facility or meet those characteristics. The compare to section is for our reports section. So we do have all of the built-in DRI values within the software application, and then just a US label adult, which I will be comparing the menu plan to today. But you can also compare it to a specific profile if you create a person. So if you don't have or if you do have your own standards, so say you were just needing to create a menu plan for just lunch and wanted the comparison to meet a third of a person's total daily intake, that is something that you can create under a person for those standards. This notes section is an open section for you to note whatever you'd like. Attachments is where you can add in a picture or for some people if they wanted to put a medical chart in here, or some people if you were creating a new ingredient, I would put where that information came from, if you had, you know, a label, a website, or whatnot, or if you wanted to put any regulations, open field where you can add any attachments you'd like. And audits is a feature if you have multiple users using the software application. It would show the person who made any changes and have a timestamp, so date and time that those changes were made, and if they wanted to know any comments of those changes that were made. So this brings us to our menu plan. So here I can add multiple days. So if I wanted to add 5 days at a time, this is where I can do this. So now I'm just going to go to day 1 and I'm going to start building. So first step is to start building my days. So I will now So I'll add in list an ingredient or food item. So say I wanted to add in bread and I knew the manufacturer, I would put in that brand name and then say I wanted just white bread. I will then, in my supplier or my product is Sara Lee, I will go ahead and choose my white bread here. Do select, I'm just gonna choose a slice. And here is my meals. So I can do no meal, but I have an option as well as breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. If I choose no meal and I wanted to, and when I get to the reports later, if you want to show in one of our reports all of the items instead of just showing breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I would suggest adding that under a no meal so it doesn't belong to a specific group. For now, I will just do breakfast, and then I do have collections, and as Alicia mentioned, you can add your own collections. By default, we do have some collections within the software application, but I will add this to a collection of bread and do OK, and then it adds in my white bread. One of the major benefits of the menu planning module is that we have this adjusted average factor. So if I am creating select cycle menu plans, this adjusted average factor is very helpful. So say I had an option for white bread or wheat bread, I can then go in and so I'll just use Sara Lee again and search for my wheat bread. I will choose this option here and do select. I'm going to have my one slice. Again, I'll choose my meal, so breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, or my no meal, and my collection, and I'll just keep that under the breads. And now I have both my white bread and my wheat bread. But this would look as if I am consuming both slices. So here's where the adjusted average factor comes in. So if I want to say 50% of the people chose white bread, I'll just do 0.5, and then 50% of the people chose wheat bread. Now I get an average, so calorically, between my two items. So this is very helpful when it comes to beverages or if you are creating select menu plans. You can also, if you have created any meals within the software application, I can search, and so I can bring up all of my recipes if I have created previous recipes within the software application, and I can add that to my meal. So I'm just going to choose this fish tacos. I'm going to do select. I'm going to choose my quantity and measure again, the meal, and then if I want to, again, my collection. So I'm just going to add this under an entree and press OK. And now I have my added entree of my recipe, my fish tacos. Another great thing about the menu plan, so now I'm just going to switch to a day, is if items are similar, we have this food pick list. So now I can see my meal and my collections, but instead of having to search the database for the item that I want to add to my meal plan, I can simply browse through my food pick list and double click, and then it will add that item to my next day. After I've built all of my days, I will then create a cycle. So when I go to cycle, all of those days that I have added are going to be over here on my day pick list. So then I'll just double click to add that to my cycle, and I would use cycles. So if you are wanting to create a monthly meal plan, you can do an unlimited number, add an unlimited number of days, and if they do repeat, so if I wanted to add my day 1, I just double clicked here. If I went to my day 2, I double click, and then I can add my day 3, and then say that repeated and I went back to my day 1, that's where I can then just start repeating days. So I can build my cycle So it becomes very helpful where you're not having to add the information for the same day to the cycle multiple times, where I can just simply click that day on my quick pick list. So I'm going to open up a menu plan that is fully populated. Now that I've opened up a menu that is fully populated, I'm going to go back to my cycle. And we can see we've repeated our days. And to change the header, so I'm going to just do a 1 week report, and we can see where this says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Whatever reflects in my cycle that I'm building and what it shows is going to be what's shown in the report section. So you want to make sure to change those headers accordingly. You can also add a date. So if I check this box, now I can add a calendar date. And to change what's being shown, I can choose any calendar date. So if I was building this for February, or let's say March for next month, I can select that calendar day, and then I can also change the name. So I'm just going to change this to Sunday. And this is going to be the information that is reflected when in the report section. So just make sure that this reads how you'd like it to be shown in the report section. And moving to the reports, so we have reports by day, and we also have our cycle reports. So if I was wanting to look at the nutrition information per day, make sure whatever day you want to look at is highlighted and has the checkbox. So if I wanted to look at that nutrition information for my day 1, make sure that that's listed here, and then that's what I'm going to be able to look at in my day reports. I want to look at my cycle report. So again, you do have the option to create multiple cycles. I just have my cycle 1 here. So I want to just look at this cycle. And we have a variety of reports. So we have our spreadsheet report. And this is a very important report to look at when looking to see if there's any missing values. So it's our detailed report. So just keep in mind when you're looking at totals that a 0 is a true 0 value, a double dash is an unknown value, just because you might see if it's, when looking at totals, just make sure that those values aren't missing. And then we have our multi-column report. So this is going to be an average for my cycle report. So here is what my week, my value of my nutritional totals for my week. Here's what's recommended, and here's my percent recommendations. And this is based on my US label adult. Again, I can change those to any built-in DRI value or make my own profile. And then our next report is our single nutrient report, and this one is great for modifying your menu plan. So if we're looking at these totals here and seeing that it's too high in a certain component, so for example, cholesterol, I can then look at my single nutrient report and see where that's coming from in my days. So here's my milligrams, or right now we're looking at sodium, so I can choose whatever nutrient I want to look at. And it was high in cholesterol, so I'm going to then choose cholesterol. And most of Thursday is quite high in cholesterol, so I'm going to open up my Thursday, and then I can see what item that's coming from. So this one is coming from this veggie omelet. We have 740 milligrams of cholesterol, and then you can change or modify your meals accordingly. And then we have this bar graph report, which is very similar to our multi-column report, but in a visual form. So if I wanted to add my recommendations and my percent recommendations, I can see here, and here is 100% of the total daily intake. And then we have our what the menu plan provides, what's recommended, and our percent recommendations. And then here's where you would just want to look to maybe if we wanted to add a supplement or change our food items to make sure that the menu plan is meeting 100% of the total daily needs. And then we have our both a pie graph and a bar graph report of where the source of calories are coming from, as well as fat. And then we have our weekly report. So this prints as a one-pager, and you can choose which meals you want to look at. So if we did just want a 1 week and say I just wanted to show my breakfast, I can do so. So I can select which meals I want to show. I'm going to deselect here. And if I just wanted to show breakfast, I can show my breakfast here. And then those collections, when I was adding in my items, my ingredients, here's where it's going to be shown, my collection. So I have my beverages and I have my entree. If I don't want that to be shown, I don't need to show my titles. And then that will, so my titles aren't shown here, but it still shows my full meal. Or if I didn't want to show a certain item, so if I unselected my beverages, then it will just show my entrees. So you have a variety of what you can look at. I'm just going to show all of my meals and my snacks and show you what that looks like. So if I go to my print preview, and this can show up to 7 days for a one-page report, and I can just print this as a PDF. So if I just want people to know what they're consuming for, again, I can just have it show one meal if you just wanted to show breakfast or lunch, but this will show your menu options. And one thing that I'm looking at here, so this reads orange, apple, but this snack item, my banana fresh, medium, 7-inch, if I want to change that, you would want to change that at, you'll need to change the common name, I should say. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change that just so it reads better. And so I see my banana here. I'm going to go to my day 7 that's listed. I'm going to go to my snack, and then I'm going to open the item. So I'm going to want to change this common name. I'm going to open my item, and I just want this to read banana when I'm listing that on that report. And I will want to save. So yes, I want to save my changes. And now it reads banana. So when I go back to my report, I want to save my changes that I made. Now I see banana. I don't see that long, lengthy name. And then the next report, and this is in the software update that was just released, we have this calendar report. So this report is very nice when I'm looking at a full month. So instead of looking at here where we can do up to 7 days, now I have a full month that I can look at. So I can choose which month. So say we wanted to look at March. We can, if I wanted to, so you can do 7 days or a 5 day. So, you know, if we're looking at a school lunch, I'd want my 5 days. It will start where the 1st of March is on a Tuesday, so this would be back in February. We can show our previous month if we wanted to by clicking this box here. And then we can also select which meal we want to look at. So we do have those breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And that was when we were entering in our items per day. If I did enter in those items under no meal, so if you did want to show all of the items that you provide in a day, then I would want to enter that in under no meal. So it does take within your organization, just think of the best way that you want to organize your database. So what items you want to enter in, the collections and the meals. So just think ahead. So when you do get to these reports, it's organized how you'd like them to be. And all of these reports can be exported. So again, if I went back to this print preview, this is how my calendar report would look. So we can print this out as a one-pager. All of the reports can be exported as in a CSV format. So I'm just going to close this out and show you how to quickly export the reports all at once. So if I do go back to my cycle, so if I want to export this information, I'm going to right mouse click and do export report. I want to export my menu plan cycle. And then here I can export day reports as well as cycle reports. So say I wanted my spreadsheet report, my multi-column report, and maybe where my source of calories or fats are going from, I can export that as a text file or to clipboard. And I'm just going to press save. I'm going to open up Excel. And now I have the items that I wanted to export. So I have my menu plan cycle and I can see my days and my items. And then I have my spreadsheet report, so my detailed report with all of the nutrition information. And then I have my multi-column report, my value, what's recommended, and my percent recommendations, and then where my source of calories are coming from. So that's just one quick way to export all of the data all at once. And then going back to the software, with these calendar reports, you can export these and save them as a PDF or to Microsoft Word. So for both of the weekly report and the calendar report. So that is a review of the menu plan and the new reports. And I'm going to hand it over to Alicia for Q&A.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katie. Thanks so much. That was great information. So let me just give a few more details and then we'll jump into some Q&A. Just a reminder, when working with the food processor, you have all of these features and functions at your fingertips. But if you need a reminder on how to work through some of the basics of the software, like adding ingredients or creating recipes, the ELearning Center on the ESHA website provides a wealth of information and things like tutorials that are short clips of instruction on specific features. We also present blog articles that keep you up to date on industry happenings or things like when standards are discussed in the news by USDA or other topics like that. So we certainly keep you up to date on what's going on out there in the industry. And we also, again, post our webinars on the ESHA website. So you can access those either directly from the ESHA website, esha.com, and find the webinars and these other tools and instructional information on the eLearning Center, or you can access the eLearning Center directly from your software. There's an eLearning Center button in Food Processor, so just click on that and it will take you to this resource. And there are a variety of ways to get in touch with us here at ESHA. If you need to reach out to our sales team, the support team, consulting services, or for other topics, please give us a call or contact us by email. And we also have additional resources like our LinkedIn community. We invite you to join our LinkedIn community, keep in touch with others in the field, as well as, like I mentioned, the eLearning Center on the ESHA website, following our blog, and you can subscribe to our e-newsletter from the ESHA website. So please just let us know how we can help you. And now we'll jump into some Q&A. We just have a few to cover. But Katie, the first question is kind of a combination. How can I create my own groups and collections? Can you show us how to do that?
Yes. You can create your own groups and collections by going to this database tab, modify, and menu collections is right here. So that is when we are entering in our ingredient or recipe, and we have some built-in collections, but you can add a new collection by doing new. If I wanted to add a new group, such as supplements, I would add that here and press OK. And now I have supplements as a category. And if I wanted to add in a group, and this is when I am organizing my database here, we can order groups such as characteristics, or if I had menu plans for lunch per se, or if I had different facilities, I can add in my own group and do new, and I can do a folder and then also groups within that folder. So if I had a facility, I can do a folder and do new, and then underneath that, if I did have, for example, different diets, I can add in different diets in here, and then I can organize accordingly, and you'll find these new groups and collections. So when I press close, we'll find the groups when we are creating our menu plan under this edit menu plan. I now have my new groups, and with collections, if I am adding in a item, I'll find my new collection. So under my collections tab, so now I see supplements. And I also wanted to point out, that was a great question, where you can find the eLearning Center within the software application. So you will find that under the Home tab in eLearning. And if I click on this button, it will bring you directly to our eLearning Center. And we also have this blue question mark in the upper right-hand corner that will bring you to our learning manual. So these are all built-in resources.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katie. Great response to those. And thank you for, again, pointing out eLearning Center and the help files for additional help with the software features. I'll take the next question. It is, can I add as many foods as I want to my software? So yes. So the food processor comes with a large collection of foods and ingredients that are pre-populated with nutrient information. But you can also add as many new foods and ingredients to the software as you would like. So if you get information from suppliers or even from product labels, however you obtain that nutrient information, you can add those as new ingredients and then incorporate those into recipes, as well as incorporate those into your menu plans. You just want to make sure that you do enter information carefully, and the nutritional content for the serving of the information, or if it's entered per 100 grams, do so carefully and correctly. And as Katie mentioned with the spreadsheet report, you can certainly check for missing values. So you want to populate the nutrients that are important to you, whether that be label nutrients that you're tracking or specific vitamins and minerals that you need to track for the population that you serve. So just keep those considerations in mind. And then that is the time that we have allotted today. I just wanted to give one more reminder, as Katie mentioned, when you're entering your menus and organizing your foods and meals, just give some consideration to how you want those presented on your reports and on the display of your menus. So whether that means assigning foods to meals and collections as we have available in Food Processor, or creating your own new collections to help organize that information. And then again, how that is displayed on the reports, like the calendar report, so that you're getting the information that you want to see and conveying that to the folks that you are serving. So with that, we thank you for joining us today.